Are you ready?
Starting now?
Well, now you just messed it up, you knob. God, you know that the shit that we go through for this, huh?
I know. Fuckers better appreciate it. When we started, we were just like, yeah, we're just going to do this, man. You know, shoot our wad into the wind and see what happens. What's the title of this podcast again?
I don't know. I don't know. Something with a penis, I guess.
Right.
Our fucking faces are everywhere now.
Right.
You know, but
You're welcome, ladies.
Right. Popular with the ladies. Right. Oh, I'm not even going to apologize because hopefully it sounds fucking hilarious.
Yeah, totally. This is fucking explicit now.
The explicit button. Let me use my finger.
La, 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 la.
It is time for another episode of Sober, Not Mature. And that episode starts now. All right, everyone. Welcome once again to another episode of Sober, Not Mature. I heard your fucking lighter click right off the bat.
Yep, I did it right into the microphone. That's my mood.
Mike's here, and it's it's kind of two things. Well, first of all, it's we're recording on a Thursday. It's still going to be released on Saturday, so you guys will be hearing this at the same time. But Mike's got plans on Friday, which is cool. So taking Chris out, right?
Yeah, Valentine's Day dinner, since it's like on a Tuesday this year. So yeah,
right.
We're going out Friday night.
That's cool. Well, nice. Yeah. Well, that's good. And we had first talked about doing it on Saturday, but my plan is to still head up to Appleton. So hang out with see my son for lunch on Saturday. If as far as I know, he's going to be available. Grab lunch with him, then go up to Appleton and hang with Kimmy and my grandson. And then, whenever Brian gets off, I don't know, they'll probably go off and do something. Let me sit with my grandson while he's sleeping.
Right.
That was the plan the last time. They were going to do like a date night after Brian got home, which is fine. I don't care. One way or the other, I'm going to be up there. So it's perfectly fine with me. But it was kind of funny when we were starting off and we just figured we'd start to record and we could bitch out loud to everyone. And Mike gets on and I'm like, "You ready?" And he's like, "Nope." Right? Nope. I'm like, I was thinking as ready as you want. And he's like, "I'm fighting a cold and I'm pissed off." And I'm like, what? I'm fighting a cold. So and it's obviously we were both together in Cleveland and got together with our friends and stuff like that. So we're gonna blame it on all those Cleveland motherfuckers that we got together with. So diseased
bastards.
Yes. Yeah. So it was just funny because I don't know, what was it like? Let me take it back on. I don't know, it was probably Tuesday. I woke up and, like a scratchy throat and stuff like that. And then it eased into yesterday. And I felt better yesterday afternoon. I woke up this morning. I'm like, fuck, my head's just all blown up and stuff. So more than normal. It's not an ego thing for once. It's actually a cold.
Yeah. So, it's end of the work week for me. And
that's right.
A work day, which I'm not, usually when we record on Friday, I've had the day off to decompress and not deal with all the assholes. So you got me all fresh and raw today.
Yeah, and it was, I actually, I quit working like 15 minutes early, just so I had time to eat and get myself settled and whatever. Cause same deal. I'm not used to recording on a Thursday night. It seemed, not that it's any different, with the exception of is that I have, all the time in the world afterwards, like tonight. I think the only thing I'll do is just process the recording to make sure I can download it, and then fuck it, I'm not doing anything else tonight. I'll do it tomorrow.
Good. Yep.
Yeah. So, but yeah, so a little bit odd, not of the ordinary, but hey, it is what it is, man.
It is.
So, want to hear something funny? And I just got this might actually brighten your mood. I got a message. I got a message from one of our followers. And it was at, is it noon today? Wow. Yeah, I guess it was. And I just took a screenshot of it because she followed up with another message after I messaged her back. But just sent a message on Instagram stating said, I absolutely love is in all caps, your content, by the way, always so relatable. And I kind of laughed at it, and I'm like, well, thank you. I said, sometimes we're a little off the wall, not just with posts, but also with the podcast. But we do take our recovery seriously. And it's nice to hear that it hits with people, so left it at that. And then literally like 10 minutes ago, she sends a message that says, "Oh shoot, I need to check out your podcast." And she said, "Hey, laughter is wonderful, and this is the part I thought was funny. I always laugh, even if I cringe a little."
Well, then she's prepared for the podcast.
I know, that's what I said. I said, what a great line. I said this is actually kind of funny. So, but yeah, that's I always laugh, even if I cringe a little. I figured that that explains our Instagram content, but yeah, technically here, definitely our podcast stuff too. So, but it's funny, every once in a while, I'll be messaging with somebody, or somebody make a comment, and they don't realize that that we have a podcast, which I get it. If somebody's just like a casual follower, even though I'm posting clips every day and all that sort of stuff, but here and there, I mean, who knows what people, if they're just seeing the memes and whatever, but I'm like, hey, yeah, we got one of those too, let's go check that out. Because I mean, shit, man, this is episode 51. It
is,
which is crazy.
Wonderful.
So yeah. Wonderful. And you know what, I just clicked into my head the other day. Crazy Megan's going to be our 52nd episode next week.
She is.
That'll be kind of fun. But
it
then,
will.
Yeah. So our technically our year isn't until the 27th. So we'll have, and you saw the list, and just for everyone, take a look on Instagram. I mean, you'll see the post from a couple of days, and I'll put it up every week. But we've got quite a few guests coming up. We've got Megan, we've got Sonia, we have I think Dr. Rob is at the end of, no, that's in March. We have individual Nicole, who's one of our followers. She's from Canada, very cool. She's going to be on in March, and then one other person, I keep forgetting who the other one is now.
No, I don't know.
But yeah, we've between the next between now the next month and a half, basically, we've got a bunch of guests coming up, which will be kind of cool. And we still want to get some of our Cleveland friends who were hitting up people last weekend to get on too. So we've got plenty of people.
We do. I guess we'll have to keep doing this thing for a while.
Yeah, and you know what? We're only I don't know, what is it, 19 days or 18 days away from hitting that year mark when that motherfucker said that majority of podcasts 90% fail in the first year. So unless we do something really fucking terrible in the next 18 days, then fuck him and his statistics. Huh?
That's right.
Yeah,
and you love those statistics.
I know. I was just gonna joke around and say after that, everyone, we're just going to shut the fucking mics off because we only did this for a year out of spite, which is not true. That's the first lie of the episode. So, well, speaking of good stuff, seeing as we're bitching about everything else or thinking of good stuff, do you have a reading ready?
I do.
Let's throw somebody else's good thoughts around in our head for a minute, right?
Yeah, because mine are fucking awful right now.
All right.
Actually, nothing really jumped out at me, so I just literally 15 minutes ago went, oh shit, I got to come up with a reading. So, but like I've said before, a quarter of my God Grant Me book is dog-eared, so I just went and grabbed one, and this is one. It's June 22nd. She didn't want her kindness returned. She wanted it passed on. Karen T. Tara, whoever the hell that is. Pass it on. Keep nothing, especially the joy and happiness you experience. How crazy these types of statements sounded when we first heard them. We may have even said to ourselves, cheap little slogans. Now they echo in our minds and offer us comfort during troubled times. Now they are a way of life. Why? Because we're selfish and love joy and happiness, and working to make others happy about life creates more happiness for us. Recovery taught us that cheap little slogans were, in reality, challenges. Our slogans teach us to keep it simple. When times get tough, easy does it. is the way to proceed. When we want to hide in the past or in the future, we hear the challenge just for today. When we get afraid and think that a lifetime of recovery will be too hard for us, cheap little slogans will save our lives one day at a time. Prayer for the day. Others have given me their joy and kindness when I had none. Higher power helped me to pass it on. Today's action says actions because this is a program of action. Today I will seek not to receive kindness, but to give it, expecting nothing in return, just for today.
Nice. And yeah. I can't remember, I can't remember a lot of things. But I can't recall when we talked about, that was one of the episodes that came, it was a thought I had in my mind, and we talked about the slogans in it, or the little sayings, and I don't think that might not have been that long ago, but and I do remember that, coming in and, the one day at a time thing, clearly, I mean, I heard that forever, from my dad, so I mean, right. I knew about that, and I'm sure that, Easy does it, and some of the other ones I heard and stuff like that. But I mean, I was kind of laughing to myself when, once again, I probably read that reading who knows how many times, but
right.
But seriously, the mindset of, these cheap little fucking sayings, blah blah blah, this, and but I mean, they mean something if you really think about it. Even if we, use some of them, kind of tongue in cheek. I mean, they, I don't know, they're the backbone of everything we do now, right?
Absolutely, yeah. Those cheap little slogans keep me going every day,
right? Yeah, and our made up one, well, not made up, but the one that we, obviously take from January 6th, the whole "not today" thing, which is,
right.
Again, that's the one that we probably use as most of the time is a joke, but I mean, we're serious about it too, so.
Yeah, definitely. I'm not going to kill these motherfuckers. Not today.
Yeah. Hey, Mike, are you going to kill somebody? Not today.
Not today.
You going to run somebody over? Not today.
Not today.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that's a good one. I like that. It's once again I think this is fun, and I'll repeat myself, but I know you said how cool you thought it was going to be, to get back into that, which I think it's cool just sitting there listening, because I don't know, the difference sometimes there are certain times when I need to read something myself, to really comprehend it. It's kind of like a hands-on thing, I guess, for me. But other times, I mean, with this, think about it. Last week, I think we talked probably almost for a half hour over the reading from last week, with responsibility, and I can't remember what the other part of it was.
I don't know. Something.
Freedom. Yeah. Freedom. There you go.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Freedom, but freedom and responsibility. But as you're sitting there and reading those things, I was making a couple of notes, and I'm like, fuck, man, I don't want to make notes. I want to, I really do. I want to listen to what the reading says and kind of take all that in. So no, it's cool. It's actually really cool. So, anything? Oh, I know. Real quick, did you see I came across or had the opportunity to put together, or I came across an opportunity for us to have logoed coffee now? Did you see that post?
I saw something about that. Didn't dive too deep.
Well, just brief explanation for you and anyone else that didn't hear it. So, and again, all these, just kind of came across in a random thing that I ran across as I was doing some research on things. But we have the opportunity to partner with a vendor to actually get like this private label coffee that we can put our logo on. So cool. In the coolest part about it, and this is one of the things I'll make sure to put it on obviously on the page that I set up for it. So this vendor, when the order is placed, rather than you walk in a grocery store or any place, and you didn't know how long this coffee's been sitting on shelf and stuff like that. Right. Granted, it's vacuum sealed and all that garbage, but basically what happens is when somebody orders coffee, a bag of whatever, it's fresh ground that day, and then they ship it. So by the time the person gets it, technically it's only if it takes. They're saying I think they're. From order to shipping is, 3 to 5 days, then figure another few days. So within a week or so, it's fresh coffee that people are getting. And,
nice.
I did the research and everything on it, and they've got all this different stuff. They got the beans, they got the pods, which the K cups, basically they'll call them
Right.
the coffee pods, but regular coffee beans, ground coffee, flavored coffee, sample packs, the whole bit, and so I was kind of, I don't know, it was Monday or Tuesday when I saw it, and then kind of threw it out there, and a couple of people, I was just asking a question, hey, would anyone like buy coffee? Which is a bunch of fucking drunks. I mean, in my head, I'm like, why wouldn't you buy
Right.
fucking coffee? And a few people responded and stuff like that. Then I, figured again, kind of sit on it. And I was talking to Kathy about it too. And, I just wanted to, by the time I get into it, it's going to take probably a couple hours to get everything set up. So I'm like, yeah, I'll do it. I'll get this episode set up tomorrow and probably get that set up. But yeah, we should be up and running with, and I'm hoping we can get like the bags can be black with our logo on it. I think it'll look fucking cool.
Yeah, no doubt.
So yeah, we're gonna get our own coffee. So yeah, I thought that was pretty fucking cool. Yeah,
sober, not mature, but wide fucking awake.
You know what? Hang on, I'm not fucking around. This time I'm actually writing that down. Give me a second here. I'm not gonna fuck around because I'm not sure. But talk amongst yourself. But what'd you say? Sober, not mature, but wide awake.
But wide fucking awake.
Wide fucking awake. Okay.
Right.
I think that's gonna go on. That's gonna go on the coffee page.
Nice.
I can't. I don't think I can put it on the bag, but I should be able to put it on our store page. Because what I'm gonna do is I'll have a menu item with the coffee on there, and then have a. I think I'm gonna do a landing page like we did for Project Clean, because some of the background of the coffee and how it's put together, and we're going to be able to offer free shipping on it, so the shipping cost is going to be all included in that stuff. But kind of the background of the coffee and some of the flavors and things like that, I want to have a place to kind of go into some detail. But one way or the other, that was a long drawn out thing, but I'm kind of fucking excited because I think it's going to be cool. So
well, yeah, plus you've got a problem, so you're obsessed, man.
Yeah, mildly with coffee, right, or just with this in general.
Well, both.
No, and it's in seriously, and I told you this when we were together last weekend, and I think I've a couple of people that have asked me, I think through Instagram and stuff. The podcast and the work that we put into this, it took a little bit to get to the point where I've got all this stuff. The stuff that I need to do for it is down to a science. It takes time. Right. Don't get me wrong, but number one, it's I've got basically an order in my head of how to do it, and it is what it is, and I enjoy it, so it never bothers me. Same thing with Instagram and that sort of thing. I know what I post on in the morning. I know how to keep up with that stuff. I mean, granted, certain days are busier than others, but then throwing the web store on top of that, that's a whole different fucking animal, But once again, I mean, it's been a learning curve and it's been a lot of work, but seriously, it's I enjoy it, and I haven't logged even in my head, the amount of hours between Instagram, the podcast, and the web store. But I don't give a fuck. I mean, this is all. It's like we were talking with Tony. I mean, all of these things are, everything that I'm doing with these things, everything that you and I are doing with this, it's keeping us right in the fucking middle of our recovery. So I mean, I can't complain. And the only thing I complain about, the work that I complain about having to do, is my normal fucking work.
Right. Oh yeah.
because I don't like doing that, and there's no benefit to it. It doesn't bring me any joy.
Right.
I was just about to say it. It makes me want to drink, which it doesn't. That would have been that would have been just for effect for me to say that, but of course it doesn't. But no. So anyhow, it's I like to do all this stuff, and talking about it's fun too. So, but I think that was the last little thing, and I mean I've got items obviously on the list, but we had another thing come up yesterday. Right. I know you posted about it on Facebook, not only on our page but on your personal page. Right. I took the picture and posted it up on Instagram also. So do you want to start off and explain what we want to talk about? And then I can't even imagine we'll have a shortage of stories to talk about. So
right. Yeah. Well, Yeah, one of the founders of the Keating Center passed away yesterday. Phyllis. Yeah, she was, she and Jack, somebody and Jack, founded the Keating Center. They started it together. They were both working at Stella Maris here in Cleveland, and we talked about that place before. And they went out on their own and started a sober house, which was actually called the Freedom House to start with. And I bet there was some responsibility involved with that. And then, the Keating Center, it was Jack and Phyllis started it. And clearly by the time we got there, Jack had passed away about 6 months before we got there, but Phyllis was still very involved. And she was a big part of my early sobriety. I'm sure yours too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So, that was, she was 90 years old. She, last few years, she hadn't been in the greatest of health. But you know what? Almost 13 years ago, no fronts. She was a 78-year-old woman, showing up, she was there, 3, 4, sometimes 5 days a week.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
In her little office back there, smoking her cigarettes behind her desk, and which I posted about yesterday and on my post on Facebook. I remember I had been there a couple of weeks, and she had me come into her office to talk to her, and I don't remember a lot of what she said, but I do remember her telling me to grow the fuck up. It was time, and that's, I was thinking about this earlier, man. We've had some guests on and stuff, and there's been some chatter about, it's different between men and women and recovery. And, Phyllis was the great example of, no, it's not. We're all the fucking same. She was, the figurative finger in my chest, just like the guys were. The solution was the same for her as it was for me and for you and for everybody. The solution is the same. And she didn't mince any words. She was talking to me about this and that and blah, blah, blah. And she looked at me and said, "You're a 43-year-old man. It's time for you to grow up, take responsibility for yourself, for your actions." And, it set me on the course that I'm still on. She was a cool little girl, and gonna miss her, man.
Yeah, and it's been I can't even. I was trying to think, and I told Kathy about it because I didn't see that Facebook post until a little bit later, and went down and told Kathy about it. Kathy got upset about it too, and I'll tell that whole story about how Kathy ended up talking to her. But I'm like the first thing that I said was, I'm like, don't get me wrong. I said it's sad and she'll be missed, but then I looked at it. I'm like, she's 90 years old, man, and we're, did the quick math, she was sober for 50 fucking years,
right.
73. Yeah. And,
she got sober in 1973. Right.
Yeah. And so, 50 years, 90 years old that she passed away. And, by all accounts, everything that I saw, she lived a hell of a good life, and it reminded me a lot when my first sponsor died. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I was sad, and I missed him, and I'll miss her. But I was like, she's just one of those. We talk all the time about. Well, okay, so a few episodes, and it just popped into my head: being remembered for your recovery, as opposed to your disease. I mean, fuck.
Right.
There, you want to talk about a glaring example, same thing with Jack and all that sort of stuff. And I mean, the only thing that the people that we've had on, the people I talk to or I post on Instagram of all this different stuff. And that's why I keep asking questions from these folks that we talk to, especially the women that we've talked to that said that AA is different. It's we never have anyone in Cleveland tell us that. And, people, Cleveland AA, and we always go back to that. And somebody somebody has softened up AA and, in my opinion, probably fucked up AA in different areas of the country, and give not only females but males the wrong impression of how this thing should be. Like you said, it's pretty goddamn simple, man. It's the solution's the same. It doesn't matter who you are, and you hang with the right women. They will love you and they will care for you and they will care about you, and they'll do anything for you, just like the dudes will for us in Cleveland. So, but I mean,
but they also won't take any shit, and they won't let you run your fucking stupid games because we all did it, and we all know how the game. Like Marty used to always say, "Game knows game."
Right? Yeah, you can't bullshit a bullshitter and all that stuff.
Right.
Oh, and I agree wholeheartedly. And the funny thing too is when, and I was thinking about this today. So the Keating Center, when you first walked in the door in 117th, where it used to be. There was a big open area, and it was a dining area, what they called the day room half the time. And that was the area where they had meetings and stuff like that. That was the public area. And then if you walk straight ahead into the wall, that'd be where the kitchen was to the left. And there was the meeting room, the classroom. Then as you went back, men's bathroom, and then Phyllis's office was right beyond that. But she was basically, her office was kind of across from the dorms upstairs, So I remembered, how many times it's like, people would be walking, up and down the halls, guys up there, fucking around, like you said, not going to your meetings to be grab ass, and everyone's grab assing and fucking around. She'd come out of her office and just look at people, and you're like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
And I mean, seriously. And, we had talked about, we both have a, that I think we called it a fearful respect for Marty, but I had a deep respect for her. She walked into the room. She was a little lady too.
She was.
She just commanded respect by the way she carried herself. I mean, I don't even know. Is that the right way to put it?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Oh, she kicked your ass.
Yeah.
I remember. It was. I think it was one of the Sunday morning meetings. And we were still halfway. And I was sitting at the ticket table helping sell the raffle tickets. And Phyllis came in and sat down next to me. And we were kind of, shooting the breeze here and there and whatever. And, she started telling me about how she used to ride motorcycles.
Really?
She's all, I still have my endorsement on my driver's license. I don't use it anymore, but I still have my endorsement. I keep it just in case, and she was what, 78, 79 at that point.
Right. Right.
Yeah. Oh yeah. She beat the hell out of you if you crossed her.
Right. And then, you talked about that meeting, and basically it was like an intake meeting, right? That we went in there for, I guess, if you want to call it that.
Sure.
But the Keating Center wasn't a medical facility, but that's the only way I can. It was an introductory meeting, I guess. And everyone had a meeting, a sit down with. we had a sit down.
She fucking eyeballed us.
Oh yeah. And,
and that's all that was.
And I could tell that the whole connection that she had to my dad and all that stuff in a little bit. But I remember sitting down there with her, and she was looking through my file, and she had my file from the hospital, and she's reading off, and I brought it with me, or Kathy and Mom did, whatever it was. But so somehow they got it, or maybe the hospital sent it. I don't remember. They had it. So looking through all this stuff, and she's like, you were a messed up little puppy, weren't you? And I'm like, yeah, apparently. She's reading off all this stuff, and I'm like, well, yeah, I couldn't really fucking deny it, But then I remember her asking me. She said, "So, have you ever done any drugs?" And I said, "No." I said, straight up booze. And she said, she goes, "Well, I'll tell you this much: you're going to learn more about drugs than you probably ever want to know being around this place." And she didn't. Yeah. She didn't lie.
Oh no.
And that's the thing. We've talked about it before. I never did any drugs. Wasn't against it. I wasn't like up on some high horse thinking I was better than everybody. I just never did. It was it's still one of my yets. I would have. I know I would have ultimately, because not stinking like booze and trying to have a little bit more functionality. At least I would have thought, but I know I would have gotten into it, and I probably would have fucking died, but that's when, and I think I talked to her the one other again sit down I had was when before we started looking for work, and that's when I had that. I already talked about it, but when I had that conversation about what do I say, man? I've been out of work for 4 months, and I'm like, because this whole honesty thing, and I'm like, I want to be honest, but I don't know. I don't know how to tell people,
Right.
And, she calmly said, she's like, you don't have to be, she goes, the honesty thing doesn't mean, saying things like this that are going to hurt you and hurt your opportunity to, to earn a living. She said, whether, and I still don't know, she had to have been the one that mentioned, saying that it was like a medical thing or whatever. She goes, you don't have to be specific. Nobody's going to ask you. And, that's what I did. I said I came out here because there was the sick family member. which was me.
Right.
But then once again, the conversation always came up about Larry, who was my stepdad. And then, he ended up passing. So people I've never said it, but people assume, oh, you came out to help your stepdad. And then he died and you stayed here, so, but I mean, she was wonderful, and the same deal, at the events. And, I know I sat down with her, was sitting next to her a couple of times, and, it might even been at that ticket table. Now I think about it, as soon as you said that, I'm like, fuck, I think I did that once or twice, so. But she was great. Absolutely wonderful.
She was. It didn't take any shit. Like you said, she was this little woman. And I remember she'd come in and she'd do groups once in a while when we were halfway. And, I remember just looking at her sometimes, because I'm a pig, and, and that's what we do. And again, she's 77, 78-year-old woman, but I'm looking at her and going, man, she must have been fucking hot back in the day, because she still had that spark in her, I was like, she's a little firecracker,
right?
I didn't get to spend a lot of time with her, but I definitely loved her. She was, and she just helped so many people,
right?
Us included, so she will be missed.
Right.
It's the world is a little darker because she's not in it anymore.
Yeah. And the same thing, like you said, over the last, whatever it's been, handful of years, and it's probably been at least a handful of years since I've even seen her. I can't remember. I know I saw her at an event. Probably one of the last times I would have seen her would have been at an event at the Rock outside. So probably like the clam bake or something like that, or one of those things.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's been a long time. But
it's been a couple. Because of the pandemic and all that, and whatever. But it's been a few years since she showed up to anything. Yeah, right. I know. Yeah. Probably the last time you saw her was the last time she showed up for one.
Yeah, that could be. Well, and even when I saw Marty's post first on Facebook, and it didn't click. I was just kind of scrolling through, and then I saw your post, and then Megan reposted it, and then Mara was right below that, and I'm like, oh, fuck me,
right?
I'm like, God damn it, because then it obviously clicked, on who it was. I'm like, fuck, but I don't know. I mean, I hadn't heard anything recently, but then again, when I clicked into it and I saw the 90 years old, I don't know why I look at that right away when I see people pass. Cause I look at when our dad passed at 66, even mom, I mean, she, was literally a week shy of her 79th birthday. And until I kind of put that together in my head, it seemed like she was young, but I mean, she wasn't, had she been like sister across the street, same age as mom. And you figure Phyllis, when we got sober, was the same age as mom was,
right.
So there are a lot of people with a lot of years left in them, but I'm like 90 and I knew all that she did. And I don't know, it comforts me a little bit knowing what she did with that, that amount of life, so I don't know if that's a weird thing to say, but
No, absolutely. Goes back to what are you going to be remembered for? And it's definitely helping lots and lots of people.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Well, you know what? I mean, now that we got this initial thing out, I think there's other stories we have, but why don't we do our break? This might be a good place to take a breath, right?
Definitely. Well, we're going to collect ourselves, and we'll be right back after this message from our sponsor.
Hey everyone, it's your friends at Sober Not Mature.
Hi there.
Yes, it's both of your friends this time. Hi Mike, how are you?
I'm well. How are you, Bill?
I am doing well, but we do have a purpose. We actually usually talk about our one website, but we actually have two websites now. So two websites in one. All right, so everyone knows we still have the podcast website that is www.SoberNotMature.com. And we just launched the store website, so we also have that. Do you know what the website address is on that one, Mike?
Of course I don't.
It's pretty easy, Mike. It's www.SoberNotMatureShop.com. But from the podcast website, you can still hit the store link and get into the web store, or you can access it from our Instagram page through the highlights. We've been posting quite a bit about it, and we'll continue to do that. But do you know what's on the second website, Mike?
Well, there's a store. There are products that you can purchase for you and your loved ones.
Well, Mike, do we still have merchandise?
We have merchandise. Well, we got T-shirts and coffee mugs and all kinds of crap.
And one of the coolest parts, we also do have all the recovery books from Hazelden, which is kind of a big deal.
That is a big deal.
Yeah, at least for us. So all the books that we read, God Grant Me, 24 Hours, the Big Book, the 12 and 12, all of those books are available for sale on our website. And once again, that store website is www.sober.
Trying to help, man.
I know you are. You're not helping, though. Okay, now I got to say www.SoberNotMatureShop.com. .com. Visit that today, or visit the podcast website, which is, again, the podcast website. So
www.SoberNotMature.com.
Did you just say sober but not mature?
Yeah, sure. Write that down.
Yeah, like fucking mush mouth or something. All right, everyone. You've suffered enough with this, and we'll get back to what we were talking about previously. So visit the websites, though. All right, everyone. Welcome back. So from a real somber thing into two stupid knuckleheads talking a bunch of shit. And then right back to us talking some shit.
Right.
So, I don't know, when Kathy and I were talking, I mean, there's a story of how Kathy ended up talking to her when I went in there. I could go back as far as the Stella Maris days with Phyllis. But so just real quick on that. And we talked about Jack. 10, 15, fucking 20 episodes ago. I don't remember what it was. But so Jack and Phyllis, like Mike was just saying, started the Freedom House. Jack and Phyllis worked at Stella Maris. My dad basically used Stella Maris as a dry out, spin dry facility for years, and then finally got sober there, and Jack was his sponsor. Okay. So my dad knew Jack, he knew Phyllis. They went way back, and I think I mentioned when we were talking about Jack that my dad did some work for Stella Maris at a time frame. I don't know if he was doing some book work with him or whatever, but I think he did everything there as kind of on a volunteer basis. I'm pretty sure.
Sure. Right.
And then who knows? They might have paid him a stipend. I don't know what the fuck. But so he did some work with them. That's when I met Jack. Now, the thing of it is, what's weird is I was telling Kathy this last night. For the life of me, I don't remember meeting Phyllis, but I think I did. But I have no recollection of it. I just remember Jack because he was such a big motherfucker.
Right.
But on top of that, I mean, obviously my dad pointed him out. This Jack, my sponsor, and blah blah blah. So I heard about him for fucking ever. But the Freedom House thing, and here's the weird part. So when when I first came into the Keating Center, hang on one second, I'm going to mute myself.
Yeah, we're hacking up along here, kids.
Yeah, but the good thing is, as opposed to 6-8 months ago, we didn't have the proper mute buttons. I saw you mute before too when I was sitting there when I was talking.
I've done it. Yep.
Yeah. So, but sorry about that, everyone. But so when I got to the Keating Center, and I forget who had started talking to me about it, but somehow, some way, I found out that my dad was affiliated with the Keating Center, and I never knew that. Kathy never knew that, anything like that. So the short story with that was the Freedom House, wherever their first building was, our dad found that building for him. So I didn't know that until I got to the Keating Center. And my dad was one of those guys. He was self-employed for years. Did really well at some things, did really bad at other things. But even while he was drinking, he was self-employed. But he did those things. He used to buy houses and things like that. Sometimes the houses that he lived in or use them for rental properties, he'd buy these things all on land contract. Basically a rent to buy type of thing. And he was really good at shit like that. So. Obviously, he worked whatever magic he had to get him that first building, which I did not know, And then whenever the Freedom House morphed into the Keating Center, and I don't even remember the story behind that, but my dad had, I don't think, a lot of dealings with that part of it, but he was a donator because I was this was so fucking funny. So my dad and I have the same name. I'm the third. My dad was junior, obviously, that sort of thing. Our grandpa was the first. But so I'm sitting there, we're waiting in line for dinner one night, and we're in the hallway in this long line of people, and I'm leaning against the wall against this donation board. and I look to the left where I'm leaning, and I kind of jump back. I mean, there's my name on the wall. And my dad was one of the donators on this donation plaque, which fucking blew my mind. And then I forget if it was Bob. You remember Bob, obviously, that was involved with the Keating Center.
Right.
He's the one that I don't remember if he knew my dad, but he knew people who knew him for sure. So he started introducing me to people that actually knew my dad. And that might have been where I found out about the whole Freedom House, whatever it was.
Right.
But so it was such a weird situation that I ended up there, and with Phyllis in a place that Jack put together, and the fact that my dad was involved, and the fact that nobody knew. My sister and I had no idea there was any affiliation at all. But that's one of those. And again, people call these things God moments or whatever you want to, whatever you want to,
right,
whatever you want to call it. I mean.
Right.
It was fucking weird, but it was fucking cool, So
yep, exactly.
But when I went into detox, and this was what Kathy was talking about last night. So again, Phyllis and Jack knew my dad, all that stuff. So everyone's calling around everywhere trying to figure out what to do with me after detox. And our cousin Johnny at the time worked for the Lakewood courts, and there was a probation officer that he knew. Mary Kate was her name, and Mary Kate's the one that she knew Bob really well, and she's the one that referred our cousin to Keating Center. Call Bob, this and that. They help because apparently the courts would send people there. Lakewood courts can send people to Keating Center all the time. Which again, no one in our family knew any of this shit. So that was the initial. Whatever you want to call it, the initial thing, to get us to even look at the Keating Center, get them to look at the Keating Center. So then my sister makes the phone call, and whatever it was, I mean, I think she had to call, left a message, and had to leave my name or something like that, like the name of the the piece of garbage they were going to drop off.
Right.
And then she ends up, my sister ends up calling back, and Phyllis picks up the phone, and then everyone back in those days used to call my dad Billy, Billy, and then obviously his last name. And then when I first came in too, and still to this day, at Who Do You Know, Ray used to call me Billy all the time. And all these old timers did, especially the guys that knew my dad, they call me Billy. Bob did from the Keating Center used to call me Billy. So apparently Phyllis picks up the phone, and Phyllis is like, "Oh my gosh, Billy, blah blah blah. I've known him for years. How's he doing?" And then Kathy's like, "Well, the one you're talking about, he died." And then, of course, Phyllis is like, "Oh, I'm so sorry." She's like, "Well, who are you calling about?" She's like, "My brother." And she's like, "What's his name?" Same name, So that's how that all came about. And then, I think that if I'm not mistaken, between there's a couple of pieces playing in there, but once again, by whatever grace there is out there between this, this Mary Kate, the probation officer, and making this connection with Phyllis, I had a bed within like 2 days.
Right.
I didn't deserve it. Probably there's probably a bunch of guys out there that certainly just. Well, I did not deserve it. Let's go back to the facts. I didn't deserve it.
Right.
Probably jumped a couple of guys in line, which, I've thought about that a little bit over the years, and it is what it is, but that's how I got in there, So, and that's why that goes back to the story of Marty when I first met him. Hi, I'm Bill. I know who you are, and he fucking walks away. I'm just like, you fucking rude ass prick. That was fucking rude.
Yep.
But again,
you know who I think I am?
Yeah, I walk in there, I'm walking in there like I'm pledging to a fucking fraternity.
You're a fucking legacy.
Yeah, like I'm a legacy. And seriously, it just kind of popped into my head as I'm looking back at it now. I didn't realize until this moment that that's the way I walked in. Like I was walking into, I'm pledging, and don't you know who I am?
That's right.
I belong here. But yeah, so that's how I ended up, at the Keating Center, and once again, I mean, I still think it's cool because I had no idea. I'm proud of the fact of, the fact that my dad was able to help. With that is, I'm proud of that fact. So.
Right.
And
you should be proud that you did it. You did the fucking work and got the results.
Right. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you could have been like, a lot of us, not me this time, but me certainly in the past, going in there and taking advantage and fucking it up and disappointing a bunch of people.
Right.
You didn't do that. So yeah. Good for you.
But here's the thing though, and I don't even have to say this, but I'm going to anyhow. Everyone who doesn't know this, I'm a fucking egotist.
Yep.
Thank you. And that's the reason I say it all the time is because number one, I need to remind myself of what a fucking dick I can be. But on top of that, I need Mike in the background to say, yep. So I do that on purpose. But the one thing that, with the exception of a little bit of fucking around that he and I do, I take zero credit for this. The story I just told, ending up in the Keating Center, was a fluke. There's no, I didn't deserve it. It shouldn't have happened. I just happened to have a family member that just happened to be in the right place at the right time. And, when that phone call was made, just happened to, be picked up by a woman that knew my dad for 30 fucking years,
Right.
Had nothing to do with me. And the reason that I stayed sober had nothing to do with me, because I've told the story about where my fucking head was at 9 months, and the way that you helped me and that the meeting helped me, and basically being, carried around and drawn around on a leash,
Right.
I mean, granted, yes, I had to show up, and I had to, have some glimmer of whatever you want to call it, hope or faith, or, at least, bring the body and the mind follow type of thing. But
right.
But I can't take credit for this. I'm proud as fuck about our time that we have. Super fucking proud of it.
Right.
Because it does matter, and it matters to everyone. Well, I think it should matter to everyone, but it certainly matters to us. But man, I can't take credit for it. I'd like to, though.
No, of course not. Right.
Yeah. Again, that's the egotist in me. I'd love to, but
yeah. Right. Yeah. Well, like the book says, man, willingness is the key. And we had well, you didn't have any willingness in the beginning, but
none.
You got there.
Well, and that's the thing, because it just, I look back and literally in spite of myself, I'm alive, and I've been sober for almost 13 years, because, as they say, that again, goofy sayings, left to my own devices, right? There's no way. And not having the direction and being in the safe place and all those sort of things, and all these different things put together. And, I go back to anyone who, let's just say that anyone who we know that has gone through the Keating Center, and I'm not trying to discount the fact of what you went through before, but even you said that the programs that you went through, from what you said, just didn't feel right, didn't fit right, or you weren't ready, whatever the case is, but all these people who were given the same opportunities and same advantages that we were, I don't know why it worked and has worked so far. What time is it? That for us so far, and it didn't for the other ones. Well, I do. I mean, we did the work. I mean, you said it, but everything, all these different pieces that fell into place, and yes, we had to make the next move, but it blows my mind. Why does all this stuff work? I don't fucking know. How many times have we said that, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's parts of this shit that I still don't understand. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. What matters is I do it, and I get the results. Yep.
Right. But yeah, I mean, and again, I didn't know the 50 years kind of blew my mind because I read the 73 and it didn't click right away. And when I was talking to Kathy, I'm like, wait a second, 73, and she's like 50 years. I'm like, holy fuck. Yep. But then I think about it. I mean, our dad got sober and he was January of 81. And then you got to figure. I mean, Phyllis 73. Jack was sober longer than Phyllis, I believe, right?
That I don't know.
Yeah, I don't remember either now that I think about it. But I know they both had a fucking shit ton of time. That's for damn sure. So, but then Ray was what, 55 years when he
Something
passed?
Like that. Yeah.
Well,
yep.
That motherfucker.
Well, he knew Sister Ignatia, right?
I was just gonna say that motherfucker knew Sister Ignatia, which is just that in itself is just mind blowing. But yeah. So what else? I mean, any other stories off the top of your head about Phyllis or anything like that you can think of?
No. I think I covered them.
Yeah.
From my end. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think so too.
Yep. Safe travels.
Right. So, there is. It's time for us to. Damn it! I just rolled my chair and I fucking piece of rug rolled up.
What the hell are you doing, man?
I was rolling over to grab my big book because I got at some point I want to go through and like read off some of these notes. If we're going down a little memory lane here, I'm going to keep that out for a minute. But there was a couple other things that I had that I had written down from the last couple of weeks, and let me take a look. Look at this. I wrote down a note. This you talk about having one of your days. One of the notes that I put down. I think I'm just made to be tired all the time now. Because literally at the time I'm like, God, maybe that's something for us to. Who knows? I could turn into a conversation. Probably not. It was just it's more of a joke now. But literally, I think I'm just made to be tired all the time now.
Yep, pretty much.
Yeah, which is just fucking true. But yeah, so we talked about steps. Oh, I know which one. Speaking of like Phyllis and that sort of thing, and the influence that she had on us. So and sayings. I guess this goes back to that. So the term, and obviously it's from the big book. It's I believe this is in the attraction rather than promotion. Is that the promises or is that the traditions?
I don't know.
Yeah, and I wasn't trying to put you on the spot. As soon as I said that, because I know the one time we were talking about something, you're like, I thought promises. You're like, no, that's traditions. I'm like, God damn it, yeah, you're right.
Right.
So
yeah.
But I mean, the thing I wrote down about that, and again, probably who gives a fuck where it came from. But so the whole attraction?
Bill Wilson.
No, I know. You know what? I mean, I was going to call you Mr. Obvious, but no, you're 100% correct. So I can't even fuck with you on that. Thank you. You're right. You win the prize. What I wrote down on there was what does it mean to you, the term attraction rather than promotion, and maybe even just not what it means to us, but if people don't even understand what that means if they're not part of a 12-step program, for instance.
Right. Well, I mean, it refers to the fact that, like AA doesn't advertise and that sort of thing. We don't go walking around going, oh, this is just the most wonderful way of life and you should do it and blah, blah, blah. Right. What we're supposed to do is be attractive, be not physically, because you've seen the pictures.
You son of a bitch. I was taking a drink of coffee. God damn it.
But no, the light in the eyes, man, I want what they have. So I want to do what they do to get it. Yeah, the attraction. We can sit here and talk, we've said it before, words don't mean a whole hell of a lot as we're talking into microphones and making a podcast, but they don't. It's
Right.
actions, man. I sometimes have to fake it a little bit at meetings. I have to remember, I have to catch myself, yes, tonight I'm in a bad mood. I would not be good out in public right now. That's why I'm locked away in my house. But I would muster it because I know that's part of my responsibility to maintain this freedom. Yeah, I need that new person, that person coming in going, fuck, I don't know if this is going to work. I don't know if I can do it. I don't know if this is going to be worth it. Getting loaded was pretty fucking good. Even when it was bad, it was pretty fucking good. I need to have that sparkle in my eye. I need to show people that this is the better way. That's what that attraction rather than promotion is. I can yap about this all I want, but I want people to look at me and go, you know what? He looks pretty fucking happy. He looks like he's got that peace and that serenity that they promised us. And I do, most of the time.
Right.
Yeah. So that's just it. Yeah. We don't promote this thing. We want people to look at us and go, that doesn't look half bad.
Right.
That's all it is. Yeah.
Well, and it's kind of funny. I mean, from in a business standpoint, and I've been in leadership roles and management roles for a number of years, but I was also in a training role for a number of years. Obviously, new hire training. Even though it's a collection business, it doesn't matter. It was I was the face of the company for all these new people. In the a little bit of a different side of it, but kind of the same concept was, even if what I was reading off and telling people about the company, even though if I've been, whether it was fucked over or felt like I was, whatever, I sit in front of a training class and go, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Page 7, that's fucking bullshit,
Right.
But kind of the same thing. It was attracting people to the company, but this is a different thing, because I mean, we are happy and we know the program works, so we have no issues with it and that sort of thing. And even if life is kicking us in the balls, then we still got to let people know that hey, this is the better way, the easier, softer way, all those sort of things like you said. And what popped into my head too when you were talking is that, and I know we heard this very, very early on, was saying that and somebody said it, just remember that when you meet somebody, you might be the only example that person ever has of, not just even take away AA and any 12-step program. You might be the only example of sobriety that they ever meet, and that's where that attraction is. We always have to, the other thing, you can act really nice and really good for 60 minutes in a meeting, but what do you do when people aren't looking, or you think people aren't looking, So that's, it's always that's the part of it. But I think you're right too, having that little bit of that sparkle in your eye, even if you if you don't feel it all the time. The other thing too that kind of goes along with this, which is hard, is that when you run across somebody that that wants more information or starts picking your brain about stuff, and they're kind of questioning what they might be doing or not doing, or drinking too much or whatever, and all of us, it says in the big book, you can't tell somebody, you can't label somebody, you can't tell them what to do. All you can do is tell stories or have them follow you and watch what you do, and
right.
Depending on who that individual is, it's hard, it can be really fucking hard, especially if you see the person, if what they're telling you and you're like, Jesus, dude, you're fucking crushing yourself, man.
Right.
You're a rager, dude. You're fucking raging alcoholic. Get in here.
Yeah.
But we can't do that. We're supposed to just, again, offer them, if they start asking, then we can give more detail. But I think one of the stories says that, at the end of a conversation like that, if the person, is interested, as they say, in these stories that those old timers used to then say, hey, here, grab a big book. I'll leave this with you, type of thing. But you don't walk in the door and be like, hi, I'm an alcoholic and I'm here to help you.
I'm going to save your life.
Right. Yeah, we're not supposed to be those people, but yeah, I mean, I think it's a cool thing, like you said. It's not even just when you said like AA doesn't advertise, I thought about that. I'm like, that almost made me feel weird. I'm like, ooh, could you imagine?
Right.
I mean, I don't care, anywhere. Just read it in a magazine or any place. Just seeing an advertisement for AA, I'm like, ew, that would just be. I feel wrong. It's just filthy,
right? Right. Yeah. I mean, for a while, Al-Anon was advertising. I heard him on the radio and stuff. Yeah. Huh. Yeah. That, not all that long ago either. Yeah. And it was, it was whatever. They do their thing and we do our thing. But yeah, it's, we just, people that are smarter than us figured out a long time ago that's not what we need to do.
Right.
So we don't.
Well, and I mean, I'll hear, advertisements for, in different areas, treatment facilities. There's a thing I hear on the radio all the time. And it's I don't know, it comes up on, I don't know what the fuck I'm listening to that it comes up on, but either way, either way, it doesn't matter, but it's someplace in Indiana and they talk about, recovery, this and that. It must be popping into, I don't know, one of the things I'm listening to, but same deal. I mean, it's for like a treatment facility if you need help and that sort of thing. Right. But it's not promoting any sort of program. It's not an AA thing or a 12-step thing or,
right. Yeah. There's, there's government agencies and stuff that are, we got them here in Ohio too. Same thing, yeah. Good luck with all that. No, again, like we've said, hey man, whatever works, whatever. I equate it to religion. I equate it to whatever, man. If it's making you a better person, good.
Right.
If it's not, bad. Keep it fucking simple.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and that's what in 9 times out of 10, all the time when I talked about, and you and I have talked to either two people or talked about people that we're going to have on as guests. The only thing that I usually ask people is, hey, just give me an idea. What's your background? Where'd you come from? It doesn't matter, but understand this much. Mike and I are AA people. We're not, big book thumpers. We're not preachers of it. If say the exact words that you just said is what I'll tell people, but I said, you just need to understand when you come on, and that's our background. That's where we come from. That's a lot of times what we talk about, but we're more than happy to, to learn about other things. I mean, it intrigues me. It does. I mean, information is power, right?
Absolutely.
The more the little star thing that used to come up. Well, I was just going to say nobody knows what that is, but I think our listener base probably knows what that is.
Yeah, they probably do. Yeah, one to grow on.
Yeah, but yeah. So I mean, stuff like that. It's I let people know, but yeah. I mean, it's interesting, and not everyone has clearly not everyone has the same background. And I've said this before that friends of mine that I talked about when I talk about the Keating Center and all that stuff. And, I actually had people say that, they wish they could have had that experience. And really what it comes down to is that it was, I mean, once again, that 90 days or, 6 months or whatever amount of time that you'll never want to repeat. Best time of your life that you'll never want to repeat again, Yeah,
absolutely.
And again, to this day, what time is it? We have not had to repeat that yet. So,
yeah, all right. Like I used to tell the guys in group all the time, hey, I love this place. I don't ever want to spend the night here again.
Yeah, you said that the first time that you said that a few episodes ago, and I don't think I've ever heard you say that before, and I thought that was fucking awesome. I mean that's great. The only time I would ever stay there overnight is if we got if a group of us guys got together, like we're gonna do like our 10-year reunion type of thing during when the pandemic fucked up our 10 years.
Right.
Like if we just did that kind of on a whim, just stayed at the fucking Keating Center,
Nah.
I know, but still, but what I'm saying, but that would just hang out with a bunch of friends there. I don't want to be a resident, I don't want to be a fucking resident there anymore. So.
Nah, I don't even want to hang out with you people there anymore.
Right. Yeah, we'll just go over to your house and hang out, right?
Exactly.
So, are we good on that? The attraction rather than the promotion?
I'm good with it.
Okay, cool. Okay, so the other one that I wrote down, and again, God only knows when I did, but all right. So someone being told that they will never be able to drink again, like somebody is going in to get sober, and whatever person walks up to him and says, "Just so you know, you're never going to be able to drink again." So kind of a so I could tell by your laughing, you're probably going to know the answer to this. So do you remember what we were told, and how do you feel about being told the word "never be able to drink again" or the phrase?
Well, right. What I've started doing early on, man. No, not today. It comes back to that. No, I can't drink today. I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. But then, the little trick we were taught was, well, yeah, so then tomorrow comes and, hey, guess what? It's today again. So, okay, fine. I won't drink today. And then tomorrow. And now, yeah, I've surrendered to the fact that I can't. There's no way. There's no way that I can take a drink or use a drug and get away with it. I just can't. I'm thoroughly convinced of that. I cannot do it. Then my head starts going instantly right away. My disease starts going right away because my disease and my head are the same fucking thing. Starts going, yeah, of course you could. You could get away with it once, and I probably could. But yeah, there's just, I am thoroughly convinced down to the marrow of my bones that I cannot safely, Marin uses that, and I like it. I cannot safely drink or do drugs.
Right.
Whether it's my safety or the safety of anybody else, I cannot safely do it. So, okay. And I like being safe today.
Well, and when you were saying that too, I thought about, because it's people always, I don't know, it's the joke, or people that are all up in arms against the alcohol industry get all pissed off at the fact that of the drink responsibly, ad campaign and stuff like that. Yeah. But I mean, that's what I thought about in my head was that I know that I had the physical ability to drink again, but I like that safely thing. And when you mentioned that, I remember Marin talking about it. So I could do it. I couldn't do it safely. I couldn't get away with it for very long, like a day maybe. Right. And I sure as fuck can't do it responsibly.
Nope.
So yeah. But
and there are people that can, and I mean, the Big Book talks about that, that we're not supposed to be anti-alcohol. I am absolutely not anti-alcohol. I'm not anti-drugs. I to this day, I think all drugs should be legal. The black market is what fucks everything up. That's why we're getting all this fentanyl shit, because they're just putting all this garbage in it. If it was legal, it would be clean and safe and for people that could drink and use responsibly. And there are people that can. They wouldn't have to worry about it. But again, back to, the Big Book talks about it. You got to remember, man, Dr. Bob and Bill Wilson, the depths of their disease, alcohol was illegal in this country, kids. A little thing called prohibition.
Right.
They knew the futility of that. They were in the depths of their disease, and according to the law, they couldn't drink. Yeah, right. According to the law, I can't use heroin. I did.
Right.
The law didn't stop me. No law will. So, the alcohol industry. Okay. How about the pharmaceutical industry? How about, I'm going to go off on a tangent that I shouldn't go off on, so I won't.
Right.
There's all sorts of things that are bad for us. Some people can handle it and do those bad things in small doses, and some of us are selfish and self-centered and can't stop ourselves.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I always go back to I think about the fast food industry and there's sugar and there's candy and
Yep.
there's all those
Yep.
different things. So no, I
Yep.
agree wholeheartedly. Gambling, I mean,
Yeah. Right.
it's whatever it is, and I mean, go out to Vegas
Which
and you
they've
can,
just legalized here in Ohio some
yeah,
more. Right.
right,
Yeah. The sports betting stuff. That's fucking all you hear on the radio and the TV now.
yeah. They were, I
Yep.
think they were talking about that on the radio the other day. I think they're trying to get that legalized in Wisconsin too, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, I agree with you because when I'm not anti-alcohol either. I mean, there's so many people that we know and direct family members that can drink and not fuck up their lives, and
Right.
that do drink and they don't fuck up their lives, and if I were anti alcohol or if I was on this, this podium, this pedestal, all this different shit about alcohol, I probably would have I wouldn't have a relationship with my son,
Right. Right.
and my son's not, in my opinion. I mean, I don't know. I don't think he's a problem drinker. He's a 22-year-old. Me and his buddies go out and they rip it up, and they have fun.
Yeah. Right.
You know.
Yeah.
I taught him. Me and my exes, me and his mom, actually sat him down and taught him. We knew he was going to drink,
Right.
and we weren't fucking stupid. And what we didn't, and the two of us were completely on the same page of that, is that, okay, we know you're going to do it, but this is what you can do. You need to be safe,
Right.
And
Yeah.
he's never been afraid to make a phone call. He's never been afraid to tell us where he's been or where he's going or what he's doing, because we don't make him feel like he has to hide it, so he doesn't,
Right. Yeah.
So
he's
it's
responsible.
yeah. And I'm not. I mean, it's just the fact that he can go out and party it up with his friends, or that my sister can, have a couple of glasses of wine, or that anyone can. I mean, for me to be mad at that is, I think it's fucking it's fucking ridiculous.
Of course it is. Yeah. Well, again, that's selfish.
Right.
I can't do it, so neither can you. Well, that's retarded. Yeah. 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 No, I can't do it because I can't do it.
Right.
Give a fuck what you can do. Enjoy yourself.
Yeah, exactly. No, I agree. But the thing that I remember with the, because I hear people talking about that, every once in a while, and I see it on, actually, I don't know if recently, but on Instagram every once in a while it'll pop up, where somebody was told when they first got sober that how daunting it is, because that they were told that they can never drink again, and I'm like, you know what? That's not what we were told. I remember specifically somebody saying to us, we're not going to tell you that you can't or that you won't ever be able to drink again. We're going to show you why you won't need to. And I was like, fuck, that's awesome. I mean, not at the time I didn't say that, but I think about that now. And I tell people that the people that I told that to, they get this look on their face like, that's fucking brilliant. And I'm like, fuck it, I didn't say it. I'm just passing it along, man.
Clearly, it's not ours. Yeah.
Yeah. But then literally, we're going to show you why you don't have to. So we're not going to tell you can't. I'm going to show you why you don't need to anymore. I'm like, huh, that's fucking cool.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I don't ever remember anyone. And, hardcore motherfucking old school AA dudes. I don't remember anyone saying that to me. You can never drink again.
Right.
Nobody ever did that.
No, because we know it's not fucking true.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it was just again one of those. One of those
clearly
things
we can drink again. I could drink right now.
Right.
Well, I can't right now because I don't have any. But
yeah, you're too fucking tired to go up to the store.
I am. Yeah. There's a corner store literally block and a half away. Yeah, but again, don't need to. Yeah,
right.
No matter, I'm in a shitty mood and I feel like crap, and it doesn't matter. I don't need to.
Right.
Not right now. Nope.
Yeah, like I said, it's one of those things, and it probably came up on Instagram as where it, and not that that's been on. I mean, that's crossed my mind a ton of times because it's come up in conversations. But I think when I wrote that down, it had to have come up on Instagram recently. And and seriously, when I look back and the kind of all this stuff going back to when we were talking about Phyllis and Jack and just the Keating Center and how we were treated. And I mean, I'm super happy. I don't know that I could have went when people are, not that anyone's really asked me, but I think about that. So could I have gone to a 28-day? Could I have gone to an outpatient? Could I have done this? Don't know, don't care. I'm glad that, again, what time is it? To this day, I have not had to figure it out if I had to go someplace else. And, the Keating Center, when people think about it, it's not some high-end country club facility, but it's nice and it's clean and it's comfortable and people actually fucking care about you. And I don't know. It's amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah.
I'm grateful that we had that opportunity,
Yeah. And it all comes back to that cheap little slogan, one day at a time.
Right.
Yep.
Exactly. So, you know what? I'm going to give get your opinion on this too. It's, for you, it's 9:00 on a Thursday night after a long week where you're in a sort of a grumpy mood. I've got to work tomorrow and stuff like that too. So I'm thinking in an hour and 10, it might not be. I don't know. I think there's other things on here, but I say that every week. But I think if you're up for it, we could probably wrap. What do you think?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
All right. And seriously,
that's wrap with a W because I'm not throwing any beats and rhymes down.
But seriously, we had things on here to talk about, but then when the Phyllis thing came up, I'm glad. That was kind of going into tonight. That was, and I'm sure for you too, was my only real focus is to honor just a wonderful human being that did so much for us, and certainly so much for others. So
absolutely,
once again,
afforded a couple of drunks like us the chance to have a better life.
Right.
Yep.
And then we're great. We're fortunate enough, or whatever you want to call it, to have this type of forum to be able to share, share her, with everyone else for a little over an hour or so. I'm just
absolutely
got warm fuzzies about that. I feel good about that. So
yeah, me too.
All right, man. Now say some F words. It's your turn.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for listening to another episode of Sober Not Mature. As always, be kind to each other, be good to each other, do something nice for somebody else. If you liked what you heard here, share it with somebody, because passing it along is what we were taught. And as always, please, 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 fuck off. Then keep fucking off. Keep fucking off until you get to a gate with a sign on it saying you cannot fuck off past here. Climb over the gate, dream the impossible dream, and keep fucking off forever.
And you know what? That the cold, the little cold in your voice, that actually made that sound a little bit made it almost sound more cool, man.
All right.
But yeah, it was smooth in both ways. So
like shit through a goose.
Yeah, right. All right, man. Well, once again, I think it was a good conversation. I'm glad we had an opportunity to do it. Yeah, may she rest.
We got to share with some folks.
Yeah, and may she rest in whatever peace she decides to rest in. So, but all right, brother. I love you. I know we'll talk soon. And yeah,
I love you too.
All right, buddy. Bye.
All right. Bye.
As always, thank you for listening to another episode of Sober, Not Mature. To access all of our content and interact with us, please visit our website, SoberNotMature.com. Thank you again for listening, and we will talk to you soon.